Sleep, baby.
Don't shoot.
Don't shoot.
I'm putting my
Lives
hands up
matter.
in solidarity with the looters.
Put it down.
Sleep.
Let it all ride on Brown. Browntown.
What a tie, Sip of
Brown
5.
time.
Stand your pity on the running kind.
Sip of fine, my brother.
So did you guys hear about Brown Friday? Hashtag Brown Friday?
Hashtag Brown Friday. What unfortunate branding. I was excited to see that in like most of the actual social media stuff, they didn't go with Brown Friday. But I was worried that they were going to.
Leah had a big Brown Friday sale.
She did. You sent me a photograph. Of
Everything must go.
that. Everything went right out between her butt cheeks.
Ooh. Leah is definitely a haul, though.
Yeah, she is. She knows when to honor those holidays.
It
She's a
turns
mess.
out that while her body has not outgrown a size 1 diaper, her poops have.
She's so awesome. Bizzle, I was just talking to before you jumped on. I was just talking to Oak about all my like dental problems.
Oh,
Wait,
good.
but you have the best, I think, dental diagnosis
Yeah.
methodology I've ever heard of. I mean, this is fucking science.
Yeah, because
Right.
I've decided to take my dental well-being into my own hands, and so now I self-diagnose when I have any dental problems. And the way I diagnose is that I floss my teeth and then I smell the floss, and if it smells like poop, I need to just floss more.
Oh, that's how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. And I was remarking on how many people there are out there in the world who clearly don't floss and don't smell their floss, because there's a lot of people out there that have poop breath.
Well, the crazy thing is, flossing is fucking hard work. So you can't blame people for not flossing. And everyone tries to floss 12 times the day of their dentist appointment. Be like, look, it's bleeding, but that's a good sign,
But
right?
look, I flossed. I did it. Yeah, like,
The problem-
that means bleeding. That means I'm alive.
Right. The problem with
It's red
flossing
blood.
is that
Yeah.
it's easy to do it wrong. It's hard to do it right.
Right.
And also, you always end up getting your floss stuck in those 2 teeth that like jam together and then like ripping it.
Not even just
Who's
2 teeth.
telling you that you're flossing wrong? Is it the dental hygienist who's just trying to get you to buy more teeth? Because I've started to believe this is a whole racket. I think that the dental hygienist is just telling you that you are flossing wrong so that you depend on your dentist to fucking floss for you.
I just want to floss the chunks of beef out of my teeth that are like visible, you know, like
And there's no way
Yeah,
to do
you
that
gotta
wrong.
pull
I
out
don't
the
think there's
side.
any way. Yeah.
you like pull the floss like way out in front of you and then just pull it tight and it snaps and like the teeth splats against the mirror.
You know what's funny? Yesterday I had chicken for dinner, and I go and lay in bed because I wanted to watch some TV on my iPad. And so when I got my Invisalign, they shaved spaces in between my teeth to make more room to like lessen the crowding. And so I have on the side here, I always get meat stuck, right?
Yeah.
And I'm laying in bed, and I'm frantic, like I'm trying to I have short fingernails, but I'm trying to like make them longer to fucking fish the meat out rather than just get up and get floss because I didn't know where floss was.
If you could just get close to the metal, like close to the tooth right there, and just get a hook on that meat, you can like slide it out.
But sometimes you wind up hooking onto your gums, and you pull out a chunk of gum instead, and then your finger's covered in blood, and you're like, "Fuck! I should have just flossed."
All right.
You gotta just go to sleep, because I don't know if you ever noticed, but like the meat chunks get forced out of their little hidey holes over the course of the evening. I don't know what scientific process happens,
And then
but
you wake up with a
you'll
mouthful
wake up in
of
the morning
free
and they'll just be hanging. The meat chunks will just be like low-hanging fruit.
And regardless of what you ate, it's gray. It could have been steak, it could have been fish, it could have been chicken. It's gray.
100%. It's
Okay.
always gray.
So here's the throwdown. What's more annoying and demands more immediate action? Going to bed and realizing you have chunks of meat in your teeth, or going to bed and realizing that your toenails are too long?
Oh.
I don't sleep with anyone, so that doesn't really matter.
No, I
You-
can't deal with it myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, because they get stuck.
Crazy. I'll get up in the middle of the night with my feet in the sink, fucking clipping my toenail.
Ew.
Well, where else are you supposed to clip them? But
I know, that's actually really thoughtful, because like walking around and Amy would not have toenail clippings around the house. She would not allow that.
no.
you know what's
Because
you
when
know
you and I
what's
lived together, you used to clip your toenails as you were like walking out of the house to go to work, and I would walk all over your fucking toenail clippings.
because he'd be wearing gladiator sandals on his way to work. It was really
Every
easy to,
season, he doesn't care what season it is. He's always wearing gladiator
So
sandals.
untrue. You both know that I have a hard stance against sandals in the workplace.
That's true.
That's
Well,
something I won't back down from.
I bought one of those nail clippers that collects your nail clippings. It's the best thing I
That's
ever bought.
awesome.
It's like a
That's
Roomba
genius.
for nail
Yeah,
clippings?
no, it just like it's basically like a diaper on your nail clipper. So when you clip, everything falls in and nothing spreads out.
So
That's what she said.
I had a boss who used to clip his toenails at work,
Ugh.
and you could hear it like across the whole floor.
It's
it's like-
such a noise.
It's such a noise. It's like it almost like it's like the sound like captures the fucking disgustingness of what's happening and carries it through time and space.
It's
into your skull.
onomatopoetic.
Yeah, it's like it amplifies it, I would say. I feel like toenail clippers are designed to amplify the sound of toenail clipping so that
There's
everybody
the
knows.
subwoofers of.
Yeah, exactly. There's subwoofers in the toenail clippers. Ugh.
Liz and I used to work with a guy who I will name because I can't fucking stand him, David Cohen. Who just like sit at
Oh,
work.
that narrows it down.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
David
New York,
Cohen in
right?
Manhattan.
Who used to bite his toenails and walk around the office with erections.
Oh.
That
You
is
know what's-
gangster as fuck.
That is fucking
You know what's
gangster.
equally uncomfortable? If I don't like to sleep with socks on, but on really cold days where like you get into bed and your feet are never gonna warm, you need socks. I hate when your pants ride up and there's the distance between your pants and your socks. So I will make sure I'm all tucked in, like shirt tucked into pants, pants tucked into socks, because I hate leaving open wounds on my lingerie when I go to bed. 'Cause I
Leah
hate-
wears her socks the same way.
She does?
Yeah. So
I knew we were related.
Pants into her socks. And then, but the key thing is that, and this is what you need, is she wears a onesie that like buttons up under her crotch, so her
Yeah.
shirt can never ride up.
I can't do
How
that though
much she
because
wiggles.
I can't reach between my legs because I have T-Rex arms and I'm fat. So I would
Neither can
definitely-
Leah. That's why we snap up the onesie for her.
Did you talk about this or did I see this on TV somewhere? Baby pajamas have like weird shouldering. If you look at like baby onesies, they have like overlapping material on the shoulders, and someone was like, most people have no idea why they're all designed this way, and the way they're designed is because kids like Leah shit through their diaper, and rather than having to take their onesie off over their head where you would get shit up their back and on their hair and their neck, those flaps come down so you can pull the onesie down and just pull it off.
Just cut it off like you're in some sort of like emergency medical tent. I'm sure you have those scissors by her
Yeah, she's got
changing
the
table.
The EMT shears right next to her.
Yeah, exactly. Just fucking cut her out of it.
See,
Fuck that thing.
other baby that would like make for Leah, her head is so friggin' huge that like that's
Yeah, her giant fucking dome.
her giant dome through the head hole in her onesie. Is
Yet
by using
yet
those, like,
another
emergency
thing-
flaps.
Yet another thing she inherited through her non-blood relative, Bizzle.
Yeah, Empire for that. Well, it's just because she's so wise.
She's
She's
30th
so wise. Just gotta-
percentile in weight, 90th percentile in 80th percentile in length, and 90th percentile in head circumference.
It doesn't get easier, I tell you. But you should tell her to do what I did. You should tell her to do what I did and just really balance it out by becoming really fat.
We're
I
trying.
think she's gonna be like.
She's inherited the weird eating complex from her grandmother and her aunt.
Oh,
so she
I
just
was
sits
like,
there and eats
Leah,
turkey?
nobody's gonna love you if you are chunky.
She's on some kind of fucking juice
That's
fast
awesome.
now, where she yells at food.
She's on a Skittles and roasted turkey and snoring diet.
Right. She read something in a magazine about a movie star diet, and now she's all about that.
Yeah, exactly. And now she eats only jelly beans and grapefruit.
My mom's sage advice when I was first getting picked on for having a giant head, I remember clear as day. I go back, I think it must have been first grade or second grade, and I was like, "Oh Ma, all the kids at school make fun of me for having a big head," and she's like, "Well, you have a big body too, so it'd look weird if you didn't." And I was like, "Oh," and that your whole life you just okay, that makes sense, so that's what I'm going with. And you
Yeah.
don't realize I have to have a big head because I was born with it. I don't have to fucking balance it out. I guess I don't want to look like Christina Ricci though, so
Yeah.
it does make
I remember
sense.
one time I was talking to a long-time listener of the podcast, Jen Savage, and I was bemoaning my distinct lack of abs. I was like, oh, I have this, my stomach's kind of fat. And she goes, well, Liz, it's just because you have to have something to have your boobs to rest on.
Oh, Jen, you have been reading science books, I think.
No, that's exactly it. I'm like, when did you become an anatomy scholar?
I could see her with a monocle and being like, wow, Liz!
Yeah.
Oh. Guys, speaking of longtime listeners of the pod, we haven't podded since before Thanksgiving, which is fucking crazy.
We surely
But
not.
I went to a Friendsgiving, not this past Saturday, the Saturday before, and there was a couple, Joe and Carrie, who I'd met the year before at the same Thanksgiving party. And I saw them, and they were the only people I recognized at the party, so I was like instantly gravitating to them, and I was like, I'm going to definitely reconnect with them because I liked them last year. And we're talking, and blah, 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 and a few drinks in, a couple hours later, Carrie goes, so your podcast? And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, I listened to it. And I was like, no fucking way. And she does, because she just like, her feedback was, Liz crushed it in her stand-up. She should keep doing it. And she like knew your names. And she goes, and Oakley sounds like he's professional at this. Like, has he done this before? Yeah. And I was like, no, he has a fucking studio. He's
suck it, internet.
And then she goes, and then she goes to me, your sound is horrible. And I was like, I know, but I record in my office in a fucking echoey room. But it meant so much to me that she actually listened to it. And she's like, yeah, I listen to it all the time. And I was like, that is fucking crazy. Because here's someone that I had only met a couple times before. And she like really likes it. She goes, you guys need to keep doing it because it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have another new listener who I love and adore, and I'm excited that she's listening. Her name is Anya, but Anya, I love you. I cannot pronounce your last name, nor am I even going to try. Jeez. It just sounds like somebody talking backwards. But anyway, Anya, we're psyched to have you as a
Anya, if you leave us a review on iTunes, we will pronounce your name correctly.
I'll figure out how to pronounce your last name. I'll put all those.
Anya got married to someone with an easier name, so Anya.
Yes, that's right.
And,
yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about Anya for a second, because Jen became friends with this whole group of Brooklyn chicks.
Yeah.
And I started working at the Huffington Post, and we realized we both knew Anya.
Yeah.
I worked with Anya, and Jen became some hipster who wore red lipstick and Rolling Stone t-shirts. Jen, what the fuck happened to you? When did this happen?
Remember when she used to wear pink, exclusively pink, like just boat neck shirts? She had thousands of them. Just with her, like, her bootleg, she used to wear Express jeans and her Wolverine boots. And now every time I show up, she's like, do you like this smock dress that I just bought?
You're like, Jen, you're not wearing a salmon boat neck cowl. Yeah, exactly. You don't know how to react anymore.
I don't know what to do with that either.
Do you remember the winter Jen and I showed up in the same Andrew Mark puffy brown winter coat, like yes. 3/4 length? We show up to work on the same day with brand new coats, and they're matching.
Yeah. That was adorable.
She also, that coat saved her life when she backed into a fucking tree in Soho and fell past the fence.
It looked like a toilet paper roll falling over the edge of a building. That was a good night. That was like the day after I got like a big mole removed from my back, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to rest up and have 13 cocktails instead of my usual 26. And I was like, why isn't this healing?
I remember us being at Colin Hart's apartment. You were hunched over the sink, and I was changing your sutures on the fucking back of that faucet of blood that you had on your back.
Yeah.
That's how you know I love you.
I know.
I sobered up in time to fucking perform surgery.
Why was I using such small Band-Aids?
I don't know.
They were so small. So how was Thanksgiving for everyone else? I suffered through Snorepocalypse 2014.
Yeah, that was the best. That was the best live stream I ever. Oak, I'm sure Liz looked really tired at dinner at your house the next day.
Yep.
No, but it was bullshit because then I showed up to Oak and Amy's house, and they're both really tired because they have a yelling baby who actually cried the entire night, whereas Mary D.
Such a D-bag.
Such a D-bag. And Mary D. Hall was only sawing logs until 12:45. And she didn't even know she was doing it. Leah fucking knew she was doing it.
Only didn't know she was doing it, denied it.
Denied it! I never snore! Yes, you do, Mom.
MGH denied it?
She denied it when I finally, because on Thursday night, I actually woke her up because we had to be up at 4:45 the next day, and I had volunteered to drive. Yeah. And it's 1 a.m. and she's still fucking sawing mad logs. And I was like, I can't. I have to sleep at some point tonight. So I just woke her up, and she was like, "What? What? I never snore." And I was like, "Mom, you always snore."
Your hypothesis is invalid.
It's invalid. I don't think you have any perspective on the situation.
You're not snoring when you stop breathing because of your sleep apnea. But
Oh, I was nervous about that a couple times. I thought she was gonna die. I went from being like, oh man, it's so annoying that she's snoring. What if she dies right now?
Wait. You keep telling the story because I want to find the transcript of text messages. This shit needs to be read. This shit was so funny.
I feel bad giving her a hard time about it though. I didn't want to and then she told me later on that day that I also snore. So like maybe she was like sitting in the room doing the same thing, being like, "This fucking asshole, I have to wake up and hang out with my granddaughter tomorrow."
You guys are perfect for each other.
I know, we really are, like best roommates. That'd be a really good
sitcom. You guys are living in a studio apartment at Ocean Edge together.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Oh my god, that's gonna be such a good sitcom. She's gonna be 70, I'm gonna be like 50. I'll still be sneaking out to get high every once in a while. I'll be like, "I found your fake ID!" I'm like, "Mom."
Imagining you like ripping oneies on the balcony while Mom.
Yeah, exactly. All like frustrated that Mom won't get out of my business. I'm like, "Mom, I do not want to watch The Bachelor with you, God."
I'll have to tell like 17-year-old Leah that we're going to visit DB.
Yeah, Mom and
like,
DB.
"No, it's so weird over there.
It smells like dental plaque in there.
Liz's text message. She stopped snoring. Now I'm scared she's dead. And then she goes. Let me find it. She goes, I'm going to try to fall asleep while the beast is in quiet cycle.
I don't need to describe my beautiful mother as a beast, but
I
mad.
I wish Mom had texted me her side of this conversation.
Me too.
And then the next day, Liz and Jen and I were curious as to what was happening with Thanksgiving. And Liz writes back, "Guys, MGH and I just got back to the hotel room, and I don't have the heart to tell her that I hate her when she's asleep." The best thing. Oh, Liz, and then your text message the other day was amazing. Jen's telling us how she drunk drove to a baby shower, and then she goes, "I've never felt more like Charlize Theron in young adult." And then Liz goes, "I'm at the Nutcracker, and I can't stop staring at all the dudes' balls."
They're right in your face.
Well,
they're right in your face.
So the dude's ballet pants, they're like nut package accentuating. Like,
yeah, there's like an extra piece of material in there that's basically just a front diaper, I think.
Yeah, they like cup the fucking junk.
Yeah, exactly. Just surrounded on all sides by fabric to make
with
sure
like
that
an
nothing.
Underwire to like get it all up the face.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
It's
that
basically
little-
just one single boob.
It's like that little hangy chunk of turkey by the big cavity that looks like turkey balls.
Yeah,
That's what they have
exactly.
Going into their pants.
Yeah. Although I did truly enjoy the Nutcracker, aside from all the balls. Maybe accentuated by all the balls. I don't even know. I can't begin to describe my experience.
Well, so you went with Molly and the kids, right?
Yes.
Was
Molly
it?
and the kid.
What is the story of the Nutcracker? Because I don't even know it.
So it's like this little girl, her like uncle is a toy maker or some shit. It's all very sort of creepy, and with different music it would be sort of like a porn, but this guy gives this little. Yeah, it's true. That's true. This guy gives her like a Nutcracker, which is like the guy in the Nutcrackers, and she like falls asleep, and then it turns into a dream of all these people like performing dances for her. It's all very gay.
That
And
is
the
the worst
Nutcracker-
show.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun.
Is it
There's
on
like
Bravo?
no, it's also like vaguely racist. I don't know if you guys have been to the Nutcracker recently, but there's this part with like Chinese people where they do like this like kind of, I don't even know what's racist anymore because I think everything's kind of racist, but I also noticed that they picked, are you not allowed to cast a Chinese person as someone who's going to be Chinese? Because there were like a lot of not Asian, because there were a lot of really talented Asian dancers, and yet they had like a white and a black person doing like the Asian part.
So I am with you. I don't know what's racist anymore. Is it
I
racist
don't know.
to cast Asian people as Asian? No.
Right. No, I don't think so.
But isn't casting a white person as Asian like wearing blackface?
That's what I'm saying. It's like they had a black guy as an Asian person, and so that I think is a little bit racist because there's perfectly good Asian people to fulfill this role.
But it's
They were
less
really-
racist to be racist against Asians than it is to be racist against black people, right?
Yes,
On the spectrum
exactly.
of
On the
racistness.
spectrum of racism, yes, exactly. It's less racist to be racist against Asian people.
One of the listeners, can somebody tweet at us and tell us how racist we are? Because I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
I think I might be a racist, but I don't. I mean, am I automatically a racist?
I mean, I'm definitely racist.
I'm
I'm
white guy?
definitely racist.
you know what? You know
yeah,
what?
but you're
Eric-
racist
you know
on
what, Eric
purpose.
Choi?
I think I'm worse kind of racist, which is like I'm like sneaky, like racist even, and I don't realize it, and I think I'm
But
not.
I didn't start out being racist on purpose. I thought that I was like a really wonderful liberal ally of all the minorities, and then as the more I started talking, I realized, oh my God, I am racist. And then because I
Right.
realized I couldn't avoid it, I just decided to embrace it.
But the key thing is like, are you going to be like racist and a self-righteous, self-delusional asshole, or just racist?
But I think the former.
I think you're right, the former, because
Yeah.
pretending that you're not racist is like,
Right.
and then acting all high and mighty about it, you're just being a cunt.
It's like going to a party stoned. You're just gonna like make everything worse. You're just gonna make everything worse.
We do have an Asian listener, Eric Choi, who will probably tweet his
Yeah.
opinion on this.
And we have belabored
Oh,
his
good.
Asianness repeatedly. on
Yeah,
the
exactly.
program.
It's the only detail about him that
So,
we've really begin. Except for
Eric, I'm sure there's
the
much other interesting stuff you have to contribute.
Yeah, he is
We're
Yeah.
very
racist, so we
smart,
don't-
and he's probably the most fun person at the office. You know,
Yeah,
I'm glad we
I'm
brought
sure
this
it's-
up because we used to talk about news on this podcast, which we have just fucking obliterated.
Yeah.
The news, it's fucking full of shitty news.
It's
But
all
everything
stupid. Yeah,
blows.
exactly.
News is dumb. The funny thing though
This
is
fucking dumb.
Oh, Democrats and Republicans. Ah!
no, we-
That's the news.
so Rupert Murdoch, Rupert Murdoch, right, defended the use of white actors in that new movie Exodus, which is about Moses. They cast a bunch of white people, like Christian Bale is in it. This other white actor, I forgot what his name is. He looks very familiar though. He's been in a bunch of shit. And basically, all the actors in this movie are white, and except for Ben Kingsley, which no one fucking knows what he is, which he's pretty lucky about that. The Rupert Murdoch tweeted, "Moses film attacked on Twitter for an all-white cast. Since when are Egyptians not white? All I know are." He has a point. I think Egyptians classify themselves as Caucasian. So if you have someone,
I don't think that's true.
yeah,
I think Egyptians are Middle Eastern or
Well,
Arab,
yeah.
aren't they?
well, yeah, Arabs are classified as Caucasian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so racist. I don't know anything. Shit.
That was really insensitive of you, Liz. I haven't.
I know. I love I'm like questioning the Muslim guy on his knowledge of Egypt and the Middle
Oh,
East.
I don't know anything about anything, but the thing is, I just think Rupert Murdoch has fucking cojones that I admire. He's not skirting on the issue. He's like, they're white. What's the big fucking deal? I mean,
Oh, his career will be over in a week. There'll be some sort of
Unpopular opinions.
yeah,
Against the wall.
yeah, exactly.
he goes, everybody attacks my last tweet, but of course Egyptians are Middle Eastern, but far from black. They treated blacks as slaves. Rupert Murdoch is fucking throwing it all out there.
Yeah, he sure is.
He's also going to be on our pod next weekend for anyone interested in listening.
He'll teach us the ways of vague racism.
Right. How to be vague in your racism.
How to be vague in your racism.
But
Yeah,
I mean-
talking about the news, I don't even feel like I'm qualified. I don't feel like I'm allowed to talk about Ferguson. I don't even feel like it's racist if I even talk about it.
So the latest was they decided not to indict the cop who shot the kid,
Right.
and then
But then they found out that the prosecutor wasn't even trying. That's what I've been reading a lot of. I don't know what my news outlets are, but
Well, the prosecutor has 7 family members who were in the St. Louis police force, and his dad, and the prosecutor's dad in the 80s was killed by a black man. So all this stuff came out, and they're like, oh, you weren't even trying. Which I trust that the guy did everything he was supposed to do at his job. Lawyers know that sometimes you have to defend the wrong person, whatever. Whatever his case was, but today, the verdict comes down on the Staten Island killing, which the guy who was put in a chokehold by the cops where he was saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. That's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome of that is, because that one's really close to home, and that was all captured on video. So the guy was honestly not doing anything wrong, and he was telling them, like, I didn't do anything wrong, and I can't breathe, I have asthma, and they didn't get off of him, and he died.
Yeah,
So
that's
gonna
fucked
be crazy.
up. I saw that tape. That
was a crazy video.
So they're talking about, I guess, Obama wanting to be on the happy side of everything.
Oh yes, always.
Has decided he's gonna try to. Was it Obama or was it somebody else that they're gonna start distributing cameras to police forces, like lapel cameras?
Well, Obama did say that. I read a headline that said that he said that. I think he wants all the cops to have head cams.
That seems reasonable. What's the argument against it? Like, would the police have the argument that they don't want to do it? I mean, I know that you just don't want to do it because you don't want people recording all the, like, you know, if you're like beating off in like the McDonald's bathroom or whatever, you don't want that on camera.
Which I did.
If you're like flossing and then flicking the meat onto the mirror, you don't want
just generally you don't want people like recording you like all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, but
beyond that, is there like some valid professional reason why they wouldn't want it? Because I guess if you kick the shit out of somebody for no reason, you get in trouble.
Right.
And that's part of the
exactly.
job.
You don't want to get busted for that, you know.
I don't know. I would like. I was googling around a little bit to see if anyone had like a good argument against lapel cameras on cops, and I didn't see one, but maybe there was one.
Like you said, it's daunting to know that your every move at work is being tracked, but after a couple of weeks of it, you just like don't fucking care and you resume business as usual. Like, you know, at work, there's always concern about like someone remote accessing into your computer, and like we at my company, when you started, you got a computer and you just used it. There was no like fucking login or anything, and now they're starting to add process around it where, you know, you have to log in and you're part of a network and all this kind of shit, and everyone's like freaking out. And at first you're like, shit, someone's gonna be reading my Gchat, but then you're like, I really don't give a shit, and you fucking do things the way you normally would anyway.
You know, it's not that hard to grab like a dump of the like packets off the router at work. I mean, I'm sure they're writing everyone's network access to a log somewhere, and it's not that like someone's going through that because it'd be so endlessly tedious that like no one would ever do it, but it gets saved so that if they ever were like looking for a reason to fuck you, they would be able to dig one out of your internet.
Right. And that same is probably true of the lapel cameras. No one's going to be sitting around fucking reviewing all these videotapes.
Well, right, but if there's a shooting, then that's
exactly. They can look back and review.
And that seems reasonable to me. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna like look at review your tape like on a regular day where like nothing can happen. But if there's a report of brutality, like somebody's gonna look at the tape.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've watched all the fucking cop shows. I know cops need to do illegal shit sometimes in order to get the job done, but I just don't think. I think they should be regulated.
It seems to be like that. If you feel like you're doing your job the way that you're supposed to, that you'd sort of welcome it, because then, I mean, then if someone made up a bullshit claim against you, you could disprove it.
They protect you too, though. I mean, so even like, you know, I would actually probably welcome it, because think about what like dashboard cams have done for cops on the highway. They've they've protected them. So
when someone's hitting themselves in the head with a rock and saying you're brutalitying me.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, nope, I'm just standing right here. Yeah.
Go nuts with that rock.
You're brutalitying me. Don't in-jail me now.
Don't in-jail me with your brutality. In jail came up at Thanksgiving.
Did it?
I can't remember what you were talking about. You definitely.
I think Chris recognized in jailed from the podcast.
Yeah. I think you did.
My cousin Chris is a regular listener.
Yeah, shout out to Chris Conti. It's good to see him back over Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Guys, speaking of Thanksgiving, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but everyone is talking about podcasts these days, because NPR has one called Serial that everyone seems to be obsessed with. Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
No one that I've ever mentioned our podcast to is ever like, oh, what's a podcast? How do I get it? With Serial, everyone's like, how do I download it? Like, I need to listen to this, whatever. So there's been a couple of people who've talked about it, and I'm like, oh, well, Serial, even though I fucking have never even thought about downloading Serial, I've been telling people, I'm like, Serial's good, but I heard about another podcast coming in sideways, which I think is better and is becoming more popular. And people are like, oh, okay. So people are like committing that to memory as well. So we can expect our numbers to just fucking ever so slightly peak in the next couple of weeks
Yeah,
and then plummet.
that's just smart. I've decided that I like to advertise the podcast in the middle of some contentious Facebook argument I'm getting into.
Oh my god.
Or when somebody calls me out for being like racist or something, I'm just gonna be like, if you want to hear me be racist more, come on, check out Coming in Sideways.
That's why I don't ever say anything.
Yeah, that's good. That's wise.
I just don't ever say anything.
That's where I am. I'm like, it's either I say everything or I say nothing, because
Just
if
say
I'm gonna
everything.
edit myself based on what people get offended about, like I'm just gonna say nothing because everybody gets offended about
Fuck
fucking
it.
something.
Die with your boots on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, did you guys read or hear about Chris Rock's stance on stand up now? He
Yeah, he won't play
refuses.
colleges.
Yeah, because he says that people are too conservative, not like politically conservative, but by means of like I can't offend anyone. So he's just like,
Yeah.
you know what, fuck, I'm not gonna do college campuses anymore.
Yeah.
You know what it is I don't even think it's like that people are offended. It's just like it's become like this weird game where everyone likes to pick out the thing to like raise the big fuss over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just everyone's just like scanning for an opportunity to like expose you as like a racist or a homophobe or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And people are too scared to laugh lest they be implicated in the fucking racism or whatever offense you're taking about something. And it's
Right.
like, what's the point of being a comedian if everyone's too scared to laugh? I think that's kind of a scary thing.
I think there's going to be I think the pendulum's going to swing the other way.
I hope so. I really don't want to like enter into this whole fascist thing.
Well, Liz, I think you have an opportunity to do it with your stand-up. I think you were up at 1 a.m. at some fucking comedy bar last night. So
Yeah,
did you perform or were you just there watching?
I performed. I did. I was inspired. That is my pick of the week. I have to remember their name. But there is a hilarious comedy duo that was actually just born last night. And it's these two dudes, Jake McDowell and Nick Ortolani, who are both fucking hilarious Boston comedians, but they basically just stand up and do German accents. And last night they had costumes and stuff, and it's like, I don't know why, but I find it the fucking funniest shit ever. And they basically rattle off all these like German words, and they're not really German words. I don't know. You have to see it in real life, but it's fucking hilarious.
And then you performed?
And then I performed, yes.
Did you fucking crush it? Like
to the usual lukewarm reception. The one on Tuesday nights is weird because I get there late, and so I'm like at the very end of the list, and so I never go up until everyone's like pissed and drunk, and and I'm usually kind of pissed and tired, and so I don't always put my best foot forward. But I got some laughs. I got a little couple.
Did you try new material?
I tried to do a little bit of like ad lib stuff at the very beginning. I just like kind of got up there and tried to talk for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And then I did I actually did the technological singularity joke, which I'm trying to shorten. My jokes are too long.
What's the technological singularity? Is that from Tile and Gentlemen?
No, that's the one where the Terminator joke about how I was scared that my computer was going to get jealous and like I would achieve the technological singularity because I was shopping for another computer using my computer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the shit I did.
It's not funny if you have to explain it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, my pick of the week is something that is a comedy album. So on the ride back down from Friendsgiving a couple weeks ago, my friend was like, "Oh, have you ever heard of Judy Gold? Have you guys heard of Judy Gold?"
I don't think so, no.
So she's like a 7-foot-tall lesbian. She lives out on the Cape, and she recorded this album. We listened to it on the ride back down. It was called Judith's Roommate's Having a Baby, and she is giving a stand-up show to a crowd of lesbians at a bar in P-Town, and the whole thing was just really fucking funny. One of the jokes she tells is she sounds a lot like Rosie O'Donnell, so at first I thought it was her, but apparently throughout the show she mentions that she was a writer for Rosie O'Donnell, so it makes sense. But and I don't find Rosie O'Donnell funny at all. I find her scary. But Judy Gold tells a joke about how she's been with her girlfriend for like 18 years, and they decide to get pregnant. And so the girlfriend gets pregnant, has a baby, and she's at a family event or whatever. And Judy's mother is telling her friend, she's like, Judith's roommate had a baby. And Judith is helping her take care of it. And she's like, no, Mom, it's my fucking girlfriend. She's like, it's not like we were splitting rent and then my roommate got pregnant. I was like, shit, that sucks. I'll chip in half. Yeah, it's pretty fucking funny. So she does a lot. I mean, it's an easy way to get a laugh, like when you pick on your parents for being kind of naive about certain shit.
Yeah. Like their own snoring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But yeah, the album was pretty funny. So it's called Judith's Roommate Had a Baby or something like that. I think that's the name of it. It's actually pretty funny, and it's available on Spotify. So if you have Spotify, you should just stream it. It's pretty funny.
Cool.
Can you believe I had a pick of the week? What the fuck is happening?
I know, right off the cuff there. I have another one. I have two, but keep it yours.
My pick of the week is the Amazon Fire TV stick.
Ooh.
Dongle that you plug into your HDMI port on your TV, and it lets you get all your like Amazon video and video games or whatever. So we have a Prime subscription that we use just to, because we buy tons of shit from Amazon. So we get a bunch of free video, but it's a pain in the ass to watch it because it's only streaming, so you can't like download it to your DVR or whatever like we would do with stuff we bought from Amazon. But the stick just has a nice, easy little interface and lets you watch all your shows and movies and stuff. So far, it's been like it's fast. It's like high def all the time. Haven't had any like buffering issues or any of the other stuff. So
what is it, like a thumb drive for your TV that has like all your Amazon shit on it?
You know what a Chromecast is?
No.
So it's like a little stick that just plugs into HDMI port, and it connects to your Wi-Fi, and it has a little remote control that comes with it. It also has there's an app for your phone that'll act as a remote control, and like through the phone app you can actually do like voice searches. So like we were looking for a Christmas movie the other night, and I just voice searched Christmas, and it took us to A Christmas Story, which is the only movie to watch in that.
Tell us how you really said, though. You were like, Christmas!
Christmas! So anyway, Amazon Fire TV Stick is actually a pretty good little product. It's only $40, and
Can you try that voice thing? Try searching for like a Bob Dylan documentary, but don't say Bob Dylan. Just be like, that's how you'll know. That's how you'll know we made it, when people fucking start talking like that on the street and be like, "Oh, you watch Coming in Sideways?" Let's
see what Google says.
Yeah.
It does.
What do you have to say to Google? I feel like you start the Google with like, so Google.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna do one. Okay, Google.
Yeah. Okay. Google.
Play Bob Dylan.
Playing Bob Dylan.
It said it's playing Bob Dylan, and then it shuffles Pink Floyd.
What?
Erroneous.
That's like
okay, Google.
That's like some
you're
Pandora
stupid.
shit. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you want to
right?
listen to this song? We'll play something else.
Okay, Google.
Yeah.
You're stupid.
You know, Liz.
Okay, Google, you're stupid.
Liz, a pick of the week that I have for you is like the flosser picks, because those make flossing so much easier, and you don't have to get your fingers in your mouth. You just pop them in there, swipe back and forth, and chuck them.
You're stupid.
I'm not so into those though. I've tried to use them, but
those pull out all my shaky fillings, because not only
can't like wrap them around my fingers like I like, and really like
I like to get my finger so that it turns purple,
and then wrap it around your tooth so you can feel the tooth like shaking in its socket.
Yeah.
But you know what though? That's the point. Like my dentist told me that I shouldn't be using those because they're not doing a good enough job hugging around the teeth. It's like pulling whatever's between the teeth, but you need floss to go around the base and pull stuff out. But I just don't have the patience for that, and I have fucking brajol fingers and and a tiny mouth and then compacted teeth, so it's just like a fucking disaster.
Oh my god, your mouth is like a Hall family Christmas.
Oh.
Y'all, I gotta go to work.
Wait, what was your second pick of the week?
Oh, Doug Benson, the comedian Doug Benson. I just watched his stand-up, and it was fucking hilarious. So.
I saw you Instagrammed and then tagged at Doug Benson, which you weren't sure it was actually him.
I don't think that's actually his Twitter handle or anything. I doubt. I'm sure another Doug Benson was probably tagged in the process. But, maybe we'll
Of
date.
course.
I don't know.
Zippy. All right, Liz. Next week I want updates on your Tinder dating because you've been killing it this
Oh
week.
yeah.
I need to know about that stuff.
I will keep you posted. I'm sure it's gonna blow up in my face like everything.
Zippy.
All right. I love
Bye,
you
kids.
guys.
Love you guys.
See you next
Ciao.
week. Bye.
Zippy.
Ooh.